What is up, guys? Could you look at this? It's a new, different setup. You know, I could explain why I'm no longer sitting on my piano, but no one cares. No one in the history of YouTube has ever cared about a YouTuber changing his setup. So let's just get into the video. It's going to be about Michael Jackson for a change. So it's not gaining any views because all my subscribers love Queen. Let's go. Please help me. You know, please watch the videos. It's gonna be interesting. Okay. When I was 11, my parents gifted me one of my first CD albums. I was by Michael Jackson, and I think they regret it to this very day because it's probably. Well, first I couldn't stop singing it, so that they like wanted to rip their ears out at that point in time. And well, I'm a singer now. I started singing there, you know, as a joke, Michael Jackson songs, and now I'm really a singer. It's my thing. So they regret it so much harder now, right, Mom? So I've already done the hardest Queen songs for singers and the hardest Beatles songs for singers. So now let's get into the hardest Michael Jackson songs for singers. And as you know, I always like to include some low songs because nowadays everyone just thinks a good singer is a singer who can sing high, and you know, they're right. No, I'm just kidding. So there's this thing going on now that, you know, with high notes, they're so overrated in a way. So we're going to talk about a low Michael Jackson song, which is called 2000 Watts. So the lowest note Michael Jackson hits in this song is an E flat 2, which is a note that if you find about this, you'd say, wow, he's hitting an E flat 2 and he's a tenor? It's kind of crazy, and it actually is crazy. It really is. And we're going to listen now to the isolated vocals of this song, which have like this robotic effect to them, but you can still appreciate how great Michael Jackson was also at singing low and not just high. On the number 6 spot, we have Billie Jean, you know, and this song covers basically every single register you can think of. I've been researching Michael Jackson's technique for this video, and I haven't come to any conclusions yet, but there's those really interesting videos about him making vocal exercises with set rigs, and you can pretty much tell he was a master at using what you could call mixed voice. And in Billie Jean, that happens all the time, and we're going to listen to it, and it sounds amazing.
Who would dance on the floor in the round? She said, I am the one.
It requires a lot of lung capacity and air management because it's a really quick song and you have to constantly go back and forth between registers, so you don't want to run out of air. And also you need to have a lot of breath support in order to make the falsettos sound well-rounded and defined.
Who claims that I am the one, but the kid is not my son. Woo!
On the number 5 spot, we have a song full of high notes. It resembles a lot to shouting, I guess, and the way Michael sang this, it had a lot of distortion in his voice, so you just know that requires even additional and extra breath support. So it makes it so hard. He reaches D5, which is such a high note. It's like Freddie Mercury's highest chest note for my Queen fans watching out there. I mean, Freddie could go a little higher, but you know what I mean. But the thing is, Michael Jackson sings this entire song in that register. It's like C5, D5, C5, D5, the whole time. It's absolutely insanity. And when he sang it in live performances, he lowered it by a few semitones, which is really interesting. Just goes to show how hard it was. On the 4th spot, we have Thriller. You know, it's one of it's Michael Jackson's biggest hit ever, if I'm not mistaken. This is very similar to The Way You Make Me Feel, but I think he uses a lot more vibrato. And you could argue that in this song there are more register changes that happen all the time, so that makes it a little bit harder. And he also sang it live, and he also lowered it. So I guess it's very, you know, similarly difficult song to The Way You Make Me Feel. 'Cause this is Thriller night. So let's move on to the top 3, see what happens, and leave a comment, right now with your predictions for the top 3, what's about to happen, and I'll wait for you, just gonna wait a little bit, just drop that comment. Thank you. Okay. On spot number 3, we have Bad. This is one of my all-time favorite songs. It's so insanely catchy for some reason. And when I researched it, it is so insanely hard. Like, wow. It has almost 20 C sharps 5, which is, I don't know, just to put it in perspective, let's just say when you're an operatic tenor, right? One of the highest notes they ask tenors to master is a C5, and that's pretty much it, because there's not a lot of arias that have higher notes. There's not a lot of operatic songs with C sharps or D5s. So when you're a tenor, C5 it's your pick, It's just it's the hardest fucking note you can do, and this is higher than that, and it happens 20 times in the same song. So go figure, right?
My friends have seen nothing, just a way so I get through because I'm bad, Jumbo.
The only easy aspect of this song in comparison to the previous one is maybe that the phrasings contain less range because they're like more linear phrasings, but that doesn't make it easier. This is on spot number 2, we have my favorite. Yeah, I know I already say, oh, this is one of my favorites, but this is actually my favorite of all time by Michael, and it's called Dirty Diana, okay? This song is so hard to sing. Michael Jackson was absolutely great at taking his head voice register so high and still somehow managed to make it sound like chest voice, because he added distortion into notes that are so in such an upper register that they physically cannot be chest voice, but he found a way to make it sound that way. When Michael Jackson sang this song live, he lowered it by more than a few semitones. And what's really interesting, I actually kind of like it too, because it's like a different version, is that his voice in the live performances was a lot cleaner. Now, what on earth is going to happen for the number 1 spot? Get it? It's Earth song. Yeah. So it starts easy, Everyone, most singers can sing the first few phrases, the first verses, if you will. But then it just goes insane. And it's really hard to produce a voice that sounds like that, and it's seriously hard. The song just doesn't allow you to take breaths.
Where did we go wrong? Someone tell me why.
The reason why this is a little harder for me than the previous song, which is insanely hard, is because he does a lot of different tones in one same song. Because he starts really clean, really soft, really smooth, and then goes like to extremely rock and roll sound, all in the same song. So that just showcases how many styles, Michael was able to produce and master with his voice, which is amazing. And it's just in one song. I think when he sang this live, he didn't. I think I couldn't find really a version of this song that wasn't playback, but it makes a lot of sense because he always was dancing a lot to this song. Singing and dancing, something that I personally cannot even begin to process how hard it must be, because if you run out of breath just standing still, or playing the piano like I do, I can't even picture how much breath support and air management and lung capacity you need to dance and sing at the same time. So it makes a lot of sense, and this would be my take on the hardest songs for Michael Jackson, for singers of Michael Jackson, for singers. But please bear in mind, you can tell me your list, because I didn't make this list as what the hardest to sing would be for me, because I cannot sing literally any single one of this one. It's not personal, it's subjective, because I researched and this is what I came up with. But you can tell me your own list. You don't have to agree with me. I hope you just learn something from this video, and you can tell me your own list. Number 1 for me would be this one, because Michael does this thing. Or you forgot about this one. Always get those comments. So I've been seeing you in the next episode of Mark a
Unsubscribe, you worthless man. Unsubscribe, you worthless man. Unsubscribe, you worthless